So AI can write blogs, probably better and faster than you. AI can write virtual signaling LinkedIn posts that are even more cringy than yours. And are you stuck for content for your email newsletter? Well, great news, ChatGPT can write you a whole 10 email sequence faster than you can say obsolete, emotional, skin. And if this wasn't scary enough, as we covered in one of our recent videos, it now looks like Google's use is dropping slightly as people turn to tools like ChatGPT to answer their questions directly rather than finding the content on your website and visiting your website. Is this it? Has AI killed content marketing? Well, to answer this question, we're going to break content marketing into tiers. Then we're going to look at how dead or not each type of content marketing is and what the future holds for it. Now, content marketing is a massive umbrella term that covers loads of different types of content. So we're primarily going to focus on written content today. And for the purpose of this video, we're going to imagine that we're running a fictional pet food company called Perfect Supplies. Thanks ChatGPT for that one. This is a mid-sized company with 50 million in turnover and heavily reliant on digital marketing to sell to its business and consumer audiences. Now, obviously, you don't run a pet food business, but imagine the parallels for your business as we're going through each of these example content types. Okay, let's start with website content, the stuff that you publish on your blog or resources section or your articles that you publish. How dead is that stuff? Let's start at the low value tier. The most basic type of content that you can publish on your website is stuff like definitions. So for our pet food business, this might be covering content types like what is pet food? Now, if you search Google for what is pet food, Google's AI just gives you an answer, as would ChatGPT, would Perplexity, and would Claude. So this type of content is definitely dead, but it's kind of been dead for a while, right? Google's been answering that question directly in the search results for some time. In fact, it answers that question in multiple places in the search results. And as a business growth strategy, a term like this has such low commercial intent, it's so top of funnel, it's almost pointless producing this, right? It's unlikely someone's going to go, what is pet food? Then read your content and go, oh, that's what pet food is. That would explain why all my pets keep dying. Let me go and buy some pet food. So this type of low value generic content has been dead for a while. Let's stop doing that. Let's go a step up into the tier I'm calling mid-value content. Now, this will be content around topics like how many calories should an Italian greyhound have every day? So it's not so generic that anyone can answer that question. You need a little bit of expertise and ideally someone with a bit of a medical or professional background to answer this question. Now, if I search for this on Google, you'll see that the AI overviews does give me an answer here. But this is also the type of search where a user might be less inclined to trust a pure AI answer and might actually want some expertise, which is where these linked websites come into their own. So the user looks at the title, description, and the source to decide where to click. Now, there's a couple of clues here as to the future of successful content marketing in this AI world. Now, this first link is really interesting because this is clearly sharing first-hand experience. And in fact, this content is the sort of thing that the AI is going to be unlikely to be able to produce. It's produced by an organization that clearly knows their stuff and has a huge amount of credibility. Now, it doesn't look like they're a business that's trying to necessarily sell anything other than collect some donations. But for my pet food business, this is exactly the type of content that I would really want to be publishing because it positions me as a real authority and shows that I know my stuff way above what the AI answers can produce. The other thing that stands out on this search results page is this dog calorie calculator. Now, this is a fantastic way to allow searchers and potential customers to customize their answers to their particular situation. And building out calculators like this is something that we do a lot for our clients at Exposure Ninja. In fact, it's quite embarrassing, but we just won a whole bunch more UK search awards for doing exactly this type of thing. Now, this calculator is pretty basic. We'd probably make one that's a bit more advanced than this, but you can see that this allows you to type in your dog's weight, whether it's pounds and kilos, and the amount of activity they get, and it shows you basically how many calories they should be consuming. Now, for Perfect Supplies, you can bet I'm going to be making a breed-specific calculator for my content in order to try and unseat this website in the AI overviews and pick up more of that traffic. Now, let's look at another AI tool, Perplexity, and see what's winning over on that site. I've asked the same question, how many calories should an Italian greyhound have every day? And you can see that Perplexity is running a background web search, surfacing results, and then giving me an answer. Now, this answer is really good. It's really well researched, and Perplexity tends to do really well for this type of search search, so we expect its popularity to continue increasing. But even though the answer is well researched, before I'm going to make a decision like this, I'm going to review the sources of the information, and you can see them nicely linked here. Now, if I click on this first one, Happy Pet, you can see what they have done is they've aggregated a bunch of data. Now, whether or not they are the originators of that data, and it's really detailed. Look at this breakdown of macronutrients. Now, this type of data is exactly what these AI tools like to reward and link to, because they can then present the data, but they can also present the source of that data. And linking to the source of that data is really important if they're going to be producing trustworthy results. So for my Perfect Pet Brands company, I'm going to be aggregating lots of data about different types of pet food and including it in posts on my website. With this type of approach, you could actually take that data and move into the top tier of content. This top tier of content is the sort of stuff that gets shared around online. It gets picked up and clicked on in the Google Discover feed. It gets shared on social media. You can send it out to your email subscribers and they absolutely love it. For one of Exposure Ninja's legal clients, we do a whole bunch of analysis of legal data in their state and in the regions that they work in. We use AI to crawl through this data and spot patterns that other people haven't spotted. We then turn this into stories, publishing these stories, facts and data on their website. This can get picked up by AIs, but it also gets shared amongst people, and it gives the business huge credibility because although we didn't compile the data in the first place, we drew out the insights and we're sharing and publishing them. So how could this work for our pet food business? Well, maybe we could go and find data from studies that have been conducted into dog longevity. We could turn this meta-analysis into a really clear story which shared some really interesting facts about what you need to feed your dog in order to make them live longer. Perhaps we might discover foods or types of nutrition that really impact a dog's longevity. And then we could publish a whole bunch of content on our website about this topic. We will be the originators of something new, even if we didn't compile the data ourselves. This positions us as an authority. It's the type of content that AI isn't necessarily going to be able to produce. And it's the type of content that all of these AI chat tools love to link to. And the people who are looking at this type of content could be great potential customers. If we can show them that we know exactly what leads to increases in a dog's longevity, and here is the food that you can buy to do this, that is a great way of funneling people into the commercial sections of our website. Last week, I met someone at a show who said, this AI content thing, I can't get my head around it. Well, we got talking and it turned out they had loads of data in their business about how their products worked. They produced loads of white papers which they'd never really published online. My advice to them was get all of this stuff online and then get a smart marketing business that can look at all of this information, maybe use some AI to explore it, and then turn it into real high tier thought leadership pieces. That way you're not competing for the low end, the crowded area where ChatGPT can just answer people's questions immediately. You're putting out something which is really high quality, which also leads us on to commercial intent. So let's look at some phrases like best dog food for Italian greyhounds. It's probably looking for a recommendation because they want to buy something. Now, if I ask Perplexity what the best dog foods for Italian greyhounds are, you'll see it actually recommends some specific brands. Now, if I'm in the US, Perplexity will actually recommend some specific products as well. And if my card details are set up inside Perplexity, I can just click and buy these from the Perplexity search results. Now, I talked in a recent podcast about exactly what's happening and how this all works. You can click the link in the description if you were interested in that. But let's go back to this idea of these AI tools recommending specific brands. If I ask ChatGPT the same question, what's the best pet food for my Italian greyhound? You'll see it also recommends these certain brands. How does it do this? Well, that takes us on to our next type of content marketing, digital PR and content outreach. By the way, before we get there, if you're interested in working out where your business sits with this kind of stuff, like how are you positioned for this new world of generative AI search, then you can request a free website and marketing review from the team here at Exposure Ninja. We'll take a look at your website, your digital marketing, and a whole bunch of stuff, including your visibility in some of these AI tools. We can even do something for you called the Generative Engine Optimization Game Plan. This service is completely free of charge. We'll record a video which we'll send to you usually within 3 to 5 working days. To request this, because not everyone is eligible, you need to go to exposureninja.com/review. That's exposureninja.com/review. And by the way, we have a cool thing called the Geo GEO Game Plan, the Generative Engine Optimization Game Plan, where we can build you out an entire plan to get your business featured in this new generation of AI tools. Now, this service isn't free, but it is fantastic, and we think in the level of detail it goes into is probably a world first. So go and request a review from Exposure Ninja, and if we think that you're a good fit for the GEO Game Plan, we might just recommend it. Okay, so back to how these recommendations are happening. Well, there are two ways that you can get these AI tools to recommend your product, business, or service. Now, the first, if we look at Perplexity, what's happening is it's running an underlying web search for some of these types of terms. Now, it's consulting whatever search index it's using. It'll be either Google, Bing, or Brave. It's surfacing some results, and it's combining those results and sharing them here. Now, what you might notice is if we have a look at the sources that are being referenced, none of these sources are actually the brands that are being recommended. In other words, these recommendations are all coming from third-party websites, which means digital PR and outreach to get featured on these types of sites is going to be really, really important moving forward. Not only is this link building in the traditional sense that has always worked with SEO, but this is how you teach these AI tools to recommend your product's business or service. Now, the other way that you can get these AI tools to recommend your business, product, or service is through being seen everywhere online. Now, in this ChatGPT search, it hasn't gone online to give me this answer, so it hasn't done a web search in the background. All it's done instead is look at its training data, its understanding of the world, and it's recommending the brands it's read about and understands are suitable for this type of situation. Now, again, the key to this is digital PR and content marketing. It's being found, talked about all over the internet, not just on your own site, but third-party sites, trade sites, mainstream publications. The more you can get your business, products, and services talked about online, the more times that these tools are going to ingest information about it when they're hoovering up all this information online as part of their training. And eventually, when somebody asks, what's the best dog food for my greyhound, it says this. So this type of digital PR and content marketing outreach is not only not dead because of AI, it actually becomes way more important. With traditional SEO, it was kind of getting to the point where link building was becoming less of a factor. Most people were focused purely on producing as much content on their websites as they can. Whereas with generative engine optimization, getting these tools to recommend you, actually it's just as important to be seen, talked about everywhere else online. So as you can see, we've got a very different story here. Has AI killed content marketing? Some types, i.e. the generic blog posts, yes. But that stuff was already dead anyway. The key is not to publish the sort of content on your website that's so generic that AI could have produced it anyway, because it just will. Instead, you want to use as much first-hand information, your data, your original takes on things, your analysis, your calculators, to make the content that you're publishing link-worthy, citation-worthy, reference-worthy. Make your content so good that all of these AI tools want to link to it because it makes their answers way better. Meanwhile, digital PR and content outreach just becomes more crucial than ever. If you're not doing this type of stuff regularly, it's very possible that you get left behind in this new era of generative engine optimization. Now, if you want a breakdown on how generative engine optimization works, Exposure Ninja has been at the forefront of this. We've got tons of examples for ourselves and our clients. So go and watch this video for a complete breakdown. Until next time, see you soon. That's a breakdown of the topic, not a breakdown.